Hello and welcome to another day on Cornwall Pocket Farm. My name is Jenny. Today I'm going to show you the first of my sort of outfit creations for our 1920s Art Deco weekend that we spent in Napier. We had a lovely time, by the way. We are now back and yeah, it was really fabulous. But of course I now have all the footage of the things that I made for the weekend, the outfits. Basically I did 3 looks. We had 3 evenings out dancing, and then I had another outfit that I put together which was sort of the daytime look for sort of walking around the town for the 4 days that we were there. So this video is the first of those looks, and I will be putting together the other looks as we go along. But of course I'm already back, so but I have all the footage and I want to show you the process and everything that I made. Now I do have to explain that it's a little difficult putting the videos together because I want to do a video on a look and give you a final reveal at the end, but of course when I was making them I was doing a bit of this one and a bit of that one and then filling a gap with something else and then doing something else, so I sort of made them in a bit of a higgledy-piggledy mess, but I've tried to sort of edit it and put it together in a way that makes a story per outfit. So hopefully you get an idea of the process that I went through and you can see the final 4 looks if you follow along, of course, with all of these videos. And do please subscribe and hit the bell and thumbs up and comment. That's all very much appreciated, and then you can follow along with the 4 looks that I created. So the first outfit was actually the outfit I wore on the last night there, but anyway, this was the first one that I started fixing. If you've watched the previous 2 videos in this series, you will have seen the sparkly flapper dress, as I'm calling it, and the alterations that I needed to make to that. And this video goes through all the alterations to that, but then also the accessories and the headband that I made for it, and sort of the process of making all of the outfits, because it really was a whole project for me. I basically had my board with all my projects on, and then I've sort of worked through getting those outfits together. And spoiler alert, just to let you know, I did actually manage to complete all 4 looks, although it was tight. But we got there in the end. And I also have to apologise for the lighting. I'm doing this not at a time that I would normally do it. There's a lot of sun in my sewing room because I'm doing it in the morning, so hopefully this shaft of sunlight that's dangerously coming in from here is not causing too many issues. Anyway, let's get on with the video, and I hope you enjoy the making of the flapper outfit. Well, I have made a start. I have created project bags out of old pillowcases and my usual project bags. The usual project bags that I use are sort of old bags that sheets come in when you buy them. They come in these handy dandy little sort of pockety bag things, and I collect these every time I buy some new sheets. I have been doing for quite a number of years now, but I still don't have enough for my current projects and all of the Art Deco projects. So I have, in this one, I have the fur, all the trims, feathers, bits and pieces, and embellishments, we'll call them. This is the leftover sari fabric for the 1-hour dress, and in here we have the sparkly dress that needs taking in on the sides. This bag is for the velvet monstrosity, I think we'll call it at the moment. So I've had a little look at this dress. The sequins tend to stick to each other a little bit, but I have gone inside and had a little look at this lining. It has a label here, dry clean only. Well, I've already washed it. It's fine. I don't really believe in dry cleaning, stuff from a charity shop really, because you get it for next to nothing, and it's sort of, if it survives the wash, then it can live with me. Anyway, it doesn't say anything that interesting on the label apart from the washing instructions. Now, having a look on the inside seams, I don't know if you can probably see here, but I was thinking there was a single seam down the sides, but there is actually a panel. So there's a seam either side, and there's a panel down the side till you get to the skirt part where that's sort of joined in. So I'm just sort of wondering how to approach this, and I think the best option, I don't know if you can see, can you see? You might be able to see here on the inside if I show you. So there is a seam here and then there's another seam there, and there's a sort of a panel that runs down the side. So what I'm thinking is actually just to keep with that, and just to sort of take in a little bit less on either side of the panel. That means that I'll have to deal with 4 seams, which is not ideal with this sequined thing, but I don't know how difficult it's going to be to sew sequins yet. So, and the worst comes to the worst, I can always hand sew it, because we're only talking about a little chunk here and here. So I'm going to try and do it on the machine. So the first thing I think I'll need to do, yes I will, is just basically detach the lining from the outside fabric just under the arms, so that, well, where those seams come up to the armhole, so that I can just take it in a little bit. But the first thing I need to do is to try it on and really pin out how much I need to lose on the 4 seams that I'm going to have to take it out of. Hopefully not that much, taken over 4 seams, so it shouldn't actually change the lines of the garment, if you like, because it's only going to be a little bit on each seam. So let's try it on and see how it fits and how much I need to take in. So I have taken in approximately 2 centimetres, so I've pinched in about 1 centimetre on each seam and on the back seams. So that's literally 2, 4, 6, I've taken in 8 centimetres around the top. So I think that fits a bit better now. Obviously it was always sort of the right size on the bottom, but the wonderful thing about the 20s is just how much room there is in here, how comfortable it is. So I think that will do for the alteration. So I've done all the unpicking now. It's a bit fiddly, really hard, because of course all these sequins have been sewn on individually. Well, not individually, by a machine probably, but they've got threads that hold them all on. So trying to unpick without actually taking out a whole line of sequins was quite a job. But anyway, I think that's done now. Enough that I can take these seams in, and then I'll have to sort of reform the arm thigh, if you like, which will be a bit more of a trick. But now the big challenge is, can I sew these sequins on my machine? Fingers crossed. I've never sewn sequins before. I've looked on the internet. Basically they sort of say, well, it should sort of almost go in between if it isn't totally covered in sequins. This is totally covered in sequins, but well, we can only try, can't we? I'm using black thread because that seems to be what is used on here. It's got a black lining, so I'm hoping that this is the right thing to do. I've put it on a number 3 stitch length, like I would use for top stitching, just because I think too tight and too tiny is going to be a problem, although the whole thing could be a problem. Let's face it, it could be an absolute disaster. But let's get my pins. Yeah, could be an absolute disaster, but it was $15, and let's just hope it doesn't break my machine. Wrong glasses. Does seem to be sewing, so yay. Let's hope it carries on behaving. Well, it isn't my best sewing ever, but it is sewn. Well, enough, I think. Sewn enough. Yeah, seems to be. I'll do the other seam. Well, let me just look from the other side first to make sure that it looks good from the other side. I think by the nature of the fabric, because it's sort of got all these little circles and it's very glinty, and it sort of covers up a lot of not so great sewing. But anyway, that's it's holding. So I think that's a win. I think we just repeat that on the other seams. Right, well, I'll turn you off and I'll bring you back when I've done the other 4, and hopefully it all goes well as that one did, which seems to work. Okay, I am pleased with that. That makes a wearable dress. It's got a little fitting through here. It doesn't fall off my shoulders now. Fits through there. It is sort of baggier at the back. I don't know if you can see it. It's sort of baggier at the back than I would normally wear it, but I think that is the style of the 20s. So yeah, I mean, clearly, excuse my socks, because I'm just trying this on as I'm making it, but that I feel now is a dress that I could wear and feel like it's the right size. Yeah, so one down, loads more to go. Okay, so that's really exciting. I have now finished that dress, and its project bag can go underneath the bench and onto the next thing. Now, what did we decide? Oh, actually, I should cross it off the board. So that's extremely pleasing, and it was a lot easier than I thought. Fiddly, as always, unsatisfying because it's all a bit of a bodge, you know, but who cares? It has a lining, it's inside, nobody will see it, it will do the job. I didn't trim the seams or anything. I've got lots to do moving on. So, flapper dress, alteration, done. So, actually one of the things we didn't do was prioritise this list actually on the list, did we? So let's call that 1, because I've already completed it. And I'm a big fan of putting things on a list when you've already done them, so you can tick them off. I do that quite regularly. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So, flapper dress alteration was priority number 1 and is complete. Now, of course, the next priority was the fur collar. So let's make the fur collar number 2 priority, okay? And what came next? The 1 hour dress make was priority number 3, wasn't it? So that's priority number 3, and that's because I want to try and enter this competition. The the velvet dress then would be number 4, I would think. Let's do the velvet dress as number 4, which makes the first stole. Headbands are difficult. Am I going to put those as priorities, or I'm going to leave? Yeah, I'm leaving headbands out of priorities. I've bracketed all these headbands because I think they're sort of like, they're not, it's a project, but they're sort of add-on projects, and I'm also going to make them with the leftover materials from the other pieces. So the next priority I think would need to be the first stole. We'll make that 5. Okay, so these are the sort of main priorities, but I did discover last night that when I was trying to work out the pattern for the collar, because of course these are my priorities, but if I have a minute I'm trying to do a bit of something else. Essentially what's happening is if I have a gap, I'm trying to fill in a little project like patterning the collar or undoing the velvet dress or whatever. I'm filling spaces and gaps with little jobs from the other projects. So one of the things I found when I tried to pattern the fur collar was to put it onto the fur fabric. I need to know how much I'm going to need for the stole and sort of almost work those out in together, because I've only got the one piece of fabric. If I go and cut out the collar pieces and cut them out in a way that I find I need that bit of fur for the stole, that's not going to work. So I almost need to lay out the pattern pieces for the fur stole and the fur collar at the same time. So those two sort of are going together, but I do feel that the collar is the next important thing. The 1 hour dress I will probably do when I have like a full day to really sort of focus on that project, because that's a complete make. Oh, so are these, but you know what I mean. Right. So, given that that is number 1, number 2 is the fur collar, and I patterned that last night, I think we need to drape the stole next, even though it is priority 5. Okay, so the system doesn't work completely, but I know what I'm doing, so yes, there we are. Tick, first one done. I think I'm going to use this black headband, and I have actually these earrings. So I thought I could actually just put them on as a bit of a sort of a headband. Like if I put the 2 of them, and I could just sort of stitch them on, because there's a fabric covering on this. I thought if I just stitched them on, that might be quite sort of 20s and sort of flappery. So that's my plan, my low impact plan for the headband to go with the flapper dress. Then that outfit will be complete. So I'm going to do this, stitch it on, and hopefully it will work quite quickly. I have the earrings, which I'm going to wear, are just these long dangly ones, which I think are suitably fabulous, and yeah, glitz and glam. And then what I did for a little bit of jewellery is I've actually, you know, this little beaded trim that I had, that I picked up from the Fabric-a-brac. Golly, that's so hard to say. I'm actually just going to tie it around my neck, put a bow in the back, and have it as like a little choker. Because I've sort of seen that look in the 20s. Certainly Miss Fisher's worn that sort of thing, where she has something like that with the little beads on. So that's going to be sort of the jewellery, because I found that by the time I'd applied these incredible earrings, the any other jewellery, just sort of beads or what have you, just looked too much. So I thought something really low impact, like a little bit of this trim tied around my neck. That's the plan.